So we are getting that little bit closer to the January transfer window, and yeah, Liverpool definitely need reinforcements this January, of course, in the centre-back position, because Ibrahim Konaté's performances have been on and off all season. Obviously, Giovanni Leone, he is injured and out with a serious injury, a very serious injury, probably until at least, we're going to probably say in summertime, so maybe June, July time. So we're probably going to see him back next season. Very excited for that. Yeah, we definitely need reinforcements in the January transfer window, and it's definitely going to have to be in the centre-back position. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at this and going, how do we need more signings? We bought, a whole catalogue in the summer, but obviously it's not clicked so far this season. We're on a decent run at the minute. We're currently 5 games unbeaten, I think it is. And hopefully we're going to extend that coming this Saturday against Spurs, away at the Spurs Stadium. We normally get stitched up at that stadium. So hopefully, we beat them 6-3 last season. I'm talking about the EFL Cup. Obviously, we lost 1-0 there. But we need him. Marc Guehi. Now, obviously, Marc Guehi would have been an essential player to our season had we have signed him. And I just think we got very, very unlucky with signing him. But I think partly it was our fault as well. We should have gone for him a bit earlier. And we should have probably just paid £5 more to get him, and we'd have signed him. But sorry, I should have said £5 million more to get, not £5 more, £5 million more. But yeah, if we don't get Guehi in January, obviously now things are heating up. Yesterday we got the news. This is based off the news that we got yesterday, that officials are meeting up with Liverpool FC to discuss a possible deal in January. Now, I think we are probably the front runners to get Marc Guehi, as obviously we did sign terms with him before the start of the season. Well, before the end of the summer transfer window that didn't ever get finalised. So, I've seen that we will also have to submit new terms, and that the current terms will be rejected. And if we were to sign him, we'd have to submit new terms for him. But we definitely need him. Like, that's something, that is a position that is essential to reinforcing in the January transfer window. And, I'd like either Nico Schlotterbeck or Marc Guehi. I'd like Marc Guehi more because we know a lot more about Marc Guehi. Obviously, in the past, signings haven't gone too well with the Bundesliga players. Obviously, there's a few examples of that. But I think if we do sign Marc Guehi in this coming January transfer window, we'll be set up. I think that is the missing piece of the puzzle. That is the reason why we are not as good as we have been. I think our defence has been shocking all season. Just because Konaté's had maybe a couple of decent games, it doesn't mean he hasn't been crap the whole way through the season. Him and Kirkez have been average from start to now. So we definitely need reinforcing in the centre-back position. Konaté's just too inconsistent, and, who knows when he'll make his next mistake. It's not like we're not praying for it, obviously, but you just know at some point in the game he will make a mistake. Obviously, I didn't think our defence was too bad against Inter. I didn't get to see the Brighton game the other day on Saturday. I was doing something, in fact, so it can't be helped. And yeah, I think obviously it's gone to show for the start of the season, for the midway through the season. I think we're at midway stage now, or it will be in January. Sorry. It's gone to show that we definitely need Marc Guehi, because so far our defence this season has been a complete and utter liability. I don't think we've been too hard done by in the sort of right back position, because obviously we've got Conor Bradley, we've got Frimpong, but he's been injured for, since the dawn of time. So, obviously we've got Conor Bradley, then we've got Calvin Ramsey, who I thought had a solid debut against Palace. Obviously, a very unfortunate game to have a debut in. But I thought he was solid at that right back position, and we've got Conor Bradley, who is he's just him, isn't he, Conor Bradley? I think he's a really good player. But yeah, we haven't had much luck with our centre-backs this season. I think Virgil van Dijk's definitely been a player that hasn't been as good as he has been in past seasons. Last season he was extraordinary. This season just hasn't hit the same heights. I mean, he's 34 though. He's 34. He is slowing down. I don't know what some of these fans expect. When they're saying, "Oh, he's so bad this season. Why did we sign him to a new contract?" Guys, he's 34 years old. He's 5 years off being 40. 6 years off being 40. Like, he's 34 years old. He's going to be 35 soon. Like, he's allowed to decline. He's slowing down. It's normal. It's normal to have a bit of a, patch where you're not doing very well. But I don't think we've given enough credit to Virgil van Dijk that he deserves this season. He's done the work of two players this season. Konate for most of it, and Kerkez at times, because Kerkez has been woeful. And Konate has just been such a liability. So he's been doing the work of Konate as well. And yet maybe his attitude isn't the best sometimes. But he's been doing the work of two players nearly all season. Like, 32-year-old Andy Robertson has had to be the starting left-back for most of the season because Milos Kerkez can't defend. Like, I just don't see what fans think will happen to a 34-year-old Van Dijk. Like, what do you expect? What do you expect? He's playing for a high-tempo team in Liverpool, and he's playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. Say if he was playing for maybe a Bournemouth, or obviously no disrespect, but say he was playing for a Bournemouth or a Brentford. Would he really be slowing down? Maybe that logic is really bad, but I think maybe you know what I mean. But he's playing for Liverpool, so he's gonna slow. I mean, you're gonna slow down at any team. I don't know where I was going with that. Please, forgive me. But I just think, what do you expect? He's 34 years old, and I think he's not been the worst. Not been the worst, definitely. But I'd say we do need that reinforcement in January. I think we definitely need Marc Guehi. Obviously, at that point in the season, he will be 6 months off being a free agent. And I see something the other day where we'd have to pay about £100 million to sign him. What? 6 months away from being a free agent? No chance. It will probably be the summer if we do sign Guehi, but I would like to sign him in January. I know there are a lot of clubs that are looking at him. He's a very sought-after player. We've got, I think, Barcelona are looking at him. Bayern Munich, I think, are looking at him. Real Madrid as well. So, we're going to be competing with a few clubs. And, it's not just us in this race. I think, it's going to be very hard to fend off Real Madrid and Barcelona, and I can imagine for Guehi himself, it will probably be very hard to decide between Real Madrid and Barcelona. I mean, obviously Bayern Munich. I think Bayern Munich are one of the clubs looking at him. Bayern Munich will obviously be a very hard club to say no to as well, because they're obviously a big club, and just look how they're doing in the Bundesliga this season. So I think it will be very hard to pick between Madrid, Barcelona, and Bayern. At the minute, if I was to choose, I'd be going for Bayern every single day of the year. I mean, look how bad Real Madrid are doing this season in La Liga. They just never recovered from last season, did they? Like, they're still not great. I think they're top of the league still, but I'm not quite sure. And then there's obviously Barcelona, who are a very good team, obviously, but I don't think they're, the same sort of class as Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. I think Real Madrid and Bayern are probably on a par with each other, to be honest. Maybe Real Madrid are a bit bigger. But, we're not the only team in this race. Obviously, a few clubs want him, and it's going to be very hard to compete with those clubs. So, we just going to have to try and get a deal done, maybe a pre-contract for, no, it's foreign teams who have to do pre-contracts. We can just sign him in January. Foreign teams have to do, get him on a pre-contract. So we'll see what happens in January, but I've got a feeling January is going to be a very, very busy month, obviously, because of January transfer window. Let's hope that we actually get a deal done for him this time and it just doesn't fall apart like it did in the summer. But yeah, so far in the season, we definitely need Marc Guehi. If anything changes, I'd probably still say we need him. But yeah, it'd just be good to have him, because I think he's a really good player. And, I was really, really disappointed when we missed out on him in summer. I keep saying January, probably because January is nearly here. But, if we fail to get him in January, then we're just going to have to, seek out for someone else in the summer, because we can't just keep chasing Guehi if we're not going to get him. But yeah, obviously there's also Semenyo who could come to us. He could go to a few clubs, in fact, in January. He's also a very sought-after player. But, yeah, I think Semenyo will probably sign for someone in January. I don't think he'll be at Bournemouth come February. But, I think we sort of have to sign someone at that centre-back position, because Konate's been woeful and Virgil van Dijk's 34. So, we'll see what happens come this January. I've got a feeling it's going to be a very busy month for a lot of teams. But yeah, if you enjoyed that video, you know what to do, which means like, subscribe, turn your post notifications on, and I will see you lovely on the next one. Please take care of yourselves. And as always, I don't even think I said a word there. Anyway, peace out. Yeah, see you later.